Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Football Talk. And today I will be reacting to a video by TPS. So shout out to them. 10 prospects that should avoid attending the draft because of their potential. My goodness, that was bad. 10 prospects that should avoid attending the draft because of their potential draft day slide. Ooh, okay. We already know the favorites. Alright, we already know the favorites. But this one right here interests me a lot more because these are names that you probably heard of and thinking to yourself, dang, why they sliding for? Was it something off the field or was it something that we didn't see? You know what I mean? So this would be interesting to watch. Without further ado, let's jump right into this, baby. Let's go.
Draft to hear their names called. However, a bit of a word of caution here.
Lamar Jackson's still on the board.
Brady Quinn is still on the board.
Johnny Manziel is still sitting there.
I think it's for sure pop. Some of them are going to be off the field issues.
So, with that, here are the 10 prospects that should avoid attending the draft because of their potential draft day slide. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback. Now, as talented as Sanders is, Cam Ward is rising in the draft stocks and is looking to be selected off the board with the first pick of the draft.
Definitely.
Sanders was favored to be
If
drafted
Cam
by
Ward,
the Giants, but they
Cam Ward
draft his
might have won
Travis
even
Hunter,
Heisman,
someone
to
else
be honest
entirely.
with you.
Now, don't get it twisted.
If it wasn't
Sanders
for,
is likely going to get
Travis
drafted
Hunter,
in the first round. But some teams may avoid Sanders because of his on-field performance, perceived lack of professionalism, and his father, Deion Sanders' influence on his draft plans. And, of course, just like his father, Sanders shares similar traits and called his falling draft stock fool's gold. Once Sanders becomes an NFL rookie, he'll be just as polarizing as his father was when he entered the NFL back in 1989. There's nothing wrong with a parent wanting what's best for their son, but Deion won't be Shedeur's coach in the NFL. It may just be better if Shedeur stays home with family or is with his Colorado University teammates on draft night, since the spotlight will be all over him, causing a bit of a media frenzy if he does attend the draft at Lambeau Field. Luther Burden III, wide receiver. Burden III did wonders for the Missouri Tigers, but his draft stock has fallen faster than today's economy. Burden's production took a bit of a dip from 2023 to 2024, which raises the alarm bells for NFL scouts. Burden had 1,212 receiving yards in 2023, but had 676 receiving yards in 2024. On top of all that, Missouri's offense slightly struggled.
Minute. What? He declined that fast? That is crazy.
In 2024 with inconsistent play, and quarterback Brady Cook dealt with an ankle and wrist injury. Some draft analysts have also referred to Burden III
when is he
as
coming
a bit of a
into the draft?
Which can be a turnoff for some NFL teams who don't want bad behavior lingering in their locker rooms or facilities. On top of that, the 2025 draft class has a lot of wide receivers to choose from, and a couple of wide receivers like Matthew Golden and Teteroa McMillan will be selected in the first round. Despite the lackluster stats from Burden III's junior season at Missouri, he should do pretty dang good things in the NFL. But it would be better if Burden III just stays home on night one of the draft, as it's likely that he'll get selected in the second round. James Pierce Jr., defensive end. Not long ago, draft analysts were suggesting Pierce Jr. would be a top 5 or top 10 draft pick. However, Bill Carter passed him, and questions are arising about whether Pierce Jr. will even get selected in the first round or not. Pierce Jr. is a talented defensive end, but scouts have been concerned.
I've definitely heard of his name before,
which certainly can be
but
a
I
red
didn't
flag for some NFL
I wasn't really
scouts.
paying attention.
Pierce Jr. potentially has character concerns, which are causing some teams to cross him off their draft boards entirely. Once Pierce Jr. enters the NFL, he should develop into a star on defense and strike fear against opposing offenses, no matter which team drafts him.
It depends on what system he goes into.
Best if Pierce Jr. just
I feel like he could be. He's definitely probably a system guy.
Tennessee, as
I could be wrong,
appearing
but
at the draft itself at Lambeau Field. Michael Williams, defensive end. Williams has the weight and height to be a standout defensive end in the NFL, but he decided to skip the on-field workouts, which, well, is never a good sign for NFL scouts or draft analysts. Williams also dealt with grade 2 ankle sprain, which he revealed he had since the Bulldogs season opener and wasn't able to practice until mid-October. Although there's nothing wrong with Williams as a prospect, injuries unfortunately happen. So, don't be surprised if Williams is selected late in the first round or early second round.
I hope this is not the case, but I feel like he's going to catch fire and then something's going to happen. Wishing no injury on nobody, okay? But if you're injury prone early in your career, and I don't mean just in NFL, I mean in college, that's a tough sign right there. But he did go to Georgia and he did have a impact. So, but yeah, them injuries, man. You know, your body can only take so much. So, hopefully,
round of the draft.
Has a
Williams
long-lasting
certainly has what
career
it takes to be a top 10 draft
and
pick.
successful
And once
one as
Williams
well.
gets drafted, he'll contribute quite nicely on defense, like he did for the Bulldogs. It'll be up to Williams to attend the draft in person, though. But I think he's better off just enjoying the moment with his family
Yeah, he
at
probably
home
would stay, though.
or
I
on
can
the
definitely see
University of
him, like,
Georgia's
staying
campus
at
with his
home.
Bulldog teammates and coaches. Cam Scatteroo, running back.
My boy,
Scatteroo is a talented
Scatteroo.
running back. He's rushed for 1,711 yards at Arizona State and led them to the 2024
Recognize his
where they ended up
name.
losing 31-39 in double overtime to the Texas Longhorns.
Awesome game.
Scatteroo's
One of
draft
the
stock
best.
has been trending downwards lately, with some draft analysts projecting that he could be taken on day 2 and others projecting that he could be selected on day 3 in the later rounds of the draft. NFL scouts are concerned about his speed and explosiveness at the next level. Notable running back prospects ahead of Scatteroo include Ashton Jeanty and Omarion Hampton. If Scatteroo attends the NFL draft, well, maybe he should just be in a hotel with friends and
I'm gonna tell you this. Every team that's not going to draft him, it's gonna be because Cowboys is gonna be coming for all y'all. And I hope my Patriots ain't in it. But if we can somehow, some way get him, make sure he go to the NFC. NFC. If Patriots don't get him, don't put him in the AFC, please, okay? Cause Kyle Boo is one of them ones. I'm telling you right now, you're hearing it from me. Skylar Boo is one of those ones, man.
family, or heck, just stay at home with the Sun Devil friends. You know, as opposed to attending the draft in person, which, might I add, is a very long flight away from Arizona on night 1, since NFL scouts think that he'll be probably a late round draft pick.
Good gracious. Yeah, I'm
Yours'
staying
stock
home.
has
I
plummeted
ain't
due to
gonna
his
lie to
torn
you.
oblique injury, which forced him to miss the season.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah,
to mention
yours,
the Long
yeah.
Points losing to the Georgia
He was
Bulldogs
all
in
the way up here
2024.
coming
A game
into
in which
this
yours
season,
did
and
not
then
exactly play his best football, as he completed 25 passes on 43 attempts for 211 yards and threw 2 touchdowns against an interception. Yours is expected to be drafted in the second round of the draft. On top
I
of
can
that,
definitely
the
see
quarterback
second
class for
round.
the 2025 draft is not particularly big, with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward leading the way as the top prospects for the position. And of course, there are
Damn,
other
they ain't really a
extremely
quarterback-like
talented
thing
position
this year,
players
is it?
NFL scouts want to select ahead of yours in the first round. One analyst cited concerns about his pocket presence, which raises concerns from teams wanting to develop their quarterback of the future. Yours is probably better off just spending the first 2 days of the NFL draft in his hometown in Texas, surrounded by his family, friends, and peers, rather than waiting to hear his name called at Lambeau Field. Denzel Burke, cornerback. Burke played a significant
my
role in Ohio
boy.
State's
Ain't gonna
college
lie.
football championship run on the
Burke-
#1 ranked
Burke, that
defense.
dude.
However, Burke's draft stock has sunk, where he's projected to be taken in the 4th round now, which, in case you
What?
didn't know, is the 3rd day of the draft, and that is a massive fall from where he was projected to land back in 2024. Scouts have him as a guy who will be a developmental starter, which is good
Yeah,
for
I can
teams
definitely
looking to
see
improve
that.
their secondary, but the cornerbacks and safeties who will receive the most attention will be the guys who are taken in the 1st round, and maybe some guys in the 2nd round of the draft. But by then, a lot of people will have moved on from
I
the
fight
draft
Burke is
weekend.
gonna be a
Burke,
solid
I think will make a
corner
good
in
impact
the
on
league.
whichever NFL secondary he gets drafted to.
He's not gonna
similar
be
to what
like,
he was
oh
able
my
to do for the
gosh, you're
Buckeyes.
seeing him on
But
every highlight, but I feel like he could
should
be a
just
solid
enjoy
one,
the draft weekend with his
depending
family
on
at
what
home.
defense he
As
goes to.
well, attending the draft itself in Green Bay might be a bit of a waste. Howard Cross III, defensive tackle. Cross III is a defensive tackle prospect who helped the Fighting Irish reach the College Football National Championship game before the team lost to Ohio State 23-34. Cross III's draft stock took a nosedive due
One
to
hell
NFL
of a
scouts'
game, by
concerns
the
about
way.
his size and limited upside, which roughly translates to limited growth at the professional level. Cross had a career-high 4 sacks and 66 tackles in 2023, but had
Damn.
28 tackles as his production dipped in 2024. Cross III is undersized at his
He went
position
from
and has an ineffective
40
bull
something
rush,
to
which
20.
could mean trouble when he squares off against larger veteran offensive linemen in regular season NFL games.
I ain't gonna
Cross
lie.
III is
This
projected
is
to be a
this right here is a crazy thing, right? Like this, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is so scary right now. That's a crazy screen.
6th or 7th round pick in the draft. He will continue to improve his game once he's drafted and will have a good career in the league, probably like his father Howard Cross, who helped the New York Giants win Super Bowl 25 back in the day. But Cross III should enjoy the draft with his family in his hometown rather than waste the money at a hotel or spend a couple of days at Lambeau Field waiting for his name to get called by Commissioner Roger Goodell. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver. Oh boy, as talented as Egbuka is and how he played
It's-
a compelling
he
role in the
has
Buckeyes
so much
championship win in
talent,
2024,
man.
his draft stock fell in Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest mock draft.
And I know
The
why it
famed
fell.
ESPN draft analyst believes that Egbuka will be selected in the 2nd round, similar to Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden III. Now, hey, don't get it
And
twisted
he is
here.
so much
Egbuka
better
is
than
gonna
the
make a
second round.
drastic impact on whichever NFL team will draft him. However, the 2025 draft class has a lot of wide receiver prospects.
Yeah, that's the
ahead of
thing
Egbuka.
about it. This
Kiper
draft
also
class is
believes other
stacked with wide
like Travis
receivers.
Hunter, Matthew Golden, and Tedero McMillan will get selected before Egbuka does. If he does get drafted in the 1st round, he'll probably get selected in the later
I don't know why I
part
could
of
see
it.
him going
Once
to the
Egbuka
Saints
does get
with,
drafted,
a
he'll
lot-
potentially grow as a
Is
game-changing
Olave
wide
with the
receiver
Saints?
and give
Yeah.
opposing secondaries nightmares for years to come.
That'd be a
But
crazy
it may be
combination.
worth it for Egbuka to just celebrate getting drafted into the NFL with his
Coming
Buckeye
back
teammates
together,
on
imagine
campus
that,
or
with
with
New
family back at
Orleans.
home, as opposed to trying to attend the draft in person and not hearing his name called on night 1. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end. Fannin Jr. is a very talented
Not
tight end
familiar
from
with his
Bowling
game.
Green, who broke the FBS tight end record for receiving yards with 1,555 yards in 2024. With crazy
What
numbers
the
like that,
fuck?
someone would think that Fannin Jr. would be a lock for the first round.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. We gotta read some of this. Most receiving yards by tight end in the season. Most receptions by tight end in the season. Receiving yards per game by a tight end in the season. Most receptions per game by a tight end in the season. Most receiving yards in a ball game by the tight end. Most receptions in a ball game by a tight end, once again, against Arkansas State. Tied most receptions in a game by a tight. God damn! How many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This motherfucker has 7 FBS records. I've never heard of this guy before. And granted, it's because of what school he went to, because I don't think I've reacted to any of their games.
Round of the NFL
I did.
draft. Well,
I
he's
damn
actually
sure
seen his draft
remember
stock
him.
fall due to the sheer amount of defensive talent who's going to be available here. Fannin Jr. is projected to be a 2nd-round pick and have his name called on the 2nd night of the draft. Look, many Pro Bowl and Hall of Fame tight ends have gone in the later rounds of the NFL draft.
Facts.
Guys like Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, and
See?
Shannon Sharp.
Best
Fannin
tight
Jr.
end,
will make a
Rob
significant
Gronkowski.
impact on the professional level. It's just a matter of who's going to select him.
Shannon
However,
Sharp
most
started
mock drafts
the
have other
blueprint,
tight ends,
and then
Colton
Gronk
Loveland,
just
Tyler Warren,
did
and
his
Mason
own thing.
Taylor getting selected in the 1st round ahead of Fannin Jr., which is probably why Fannin Jr. should soak up the draft night with his family in his hometown or back on campus instead of watch the other tight end prospects get drafted ahead of him in the 1st round at Lambeau Field. But hey, which other NFL prospects do you think should avoid attention?
Okay, that's it. The only one I didn't really like, I don't think stay home is Sanders. I feel like Sanders is gonna come show up. Now, not just for him per se, but for Travis, because they like this. You feel me? Like, so I feel like he's gonna show. I feel like he's gonna show up. But everybody else, yeah, they probably will stay home. But that tight end though, I might gotta react to some of his highlights or something, cause I ain't I ain't hear about these records being broke. I did not hear about none of this. Am I the only one? Like, am I tripping? Cause that is crazy, man. Crazy. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this reaction. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.